Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game. What's good? So I got an email from a subscriber, and the subscriber sent a donation. So this one says, "Hello, Mr. Locario. I have a question for you. But first, a brief personal story. In the rare event in which I actually do get a girl's number, there have been times in which I never hear back from them, as was the case with this one girl I met in an arcade bar a while back. I asked the user named Tyrone Magnus, who I assume you're familiar with, about this problem, but all he said was that the girl most likely was never interested in me, and even though she initially agreed to exchange numbers with me. He even went so far as to say that I could have been a possible option near the bottom of her list. I thought all of this was complete bullshit because there are many reasons aside from what Tyrone told me as to why this broad did what she did. Thus, I felt he wasn't much of help because he seemed to keep rehashing the same thing to me. In addition, he made it appear what the girl did was justified, i.e., low-key wasting my time, when it clearly wasn't. Personally, I felt it was my fault because I may have texted her less than 2 hours after I got the number, just me being too eager by sweating her. But then again, on the flip side, it could have been her fault because she was either fake and full of shit and full of bullshit, or simply possibly an attention whore. Thus, I may not have been this chick's only victim. My question to you is, do you think it is socially or morally acceptable or justified for girls to waste a guy's time by leading them on by acting flaky, inconsistent, purposely going ghost, etc.? Regardless of your answer, I don't think it's acceptable / justified at all. But what do you think? All right. So you want to know, like, you asking, is it morally and socially acceptable? See, well, the thing you got to understand with morals are like a personal thing. It's subjective, whatever you think is morally right or wrong or whatever it is. It depends on your perspective or whatever. Now, is it socially accepted? Yeah, it's socially accepted for, a chick to quote unquote lead a guy on or whatever. But what it seems like in your email, it doesn't necessarily seem like this chick was leading you on. All that happened was that you exchanged numbers with a chick, and you hit her up, and you just didn't really hear from her. You understand what I'm saying? So what a lot of guys think is that they think that just getting a girl's number and her agreeing to give you the number, means that the guy that she likes you. You understand what I'm saying? And it doesn't really mean that. That's what you're interpreting. You're thinking, oh, well, she gave me the number, that means she likes me. So why would she, not call me, or why would she, ignore my calls or flake on a date or whatever it is, right? See, what you got to understand about women is that a lot of times when a girl is dealing with a guy, in a lot of cases when they're first getting together, she's still sort of thinking about him and how she feels about him. So she's still sort of figuring out if she's into him or not in certain cases. So there's going to be guys where they're totally into, like, yeah, I'm feeling this guy, I want to see him and all this other stuff. And then you got times where she'll get a guy's number, and then based off of how he acts or responds to her, at the beginning, she'll start to develop a certain outlook on who he is and what he's about. So what you said was that you texted her or hit her up like, 2 hours after you got her number. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it depends on what were you texting her. Were you texting her to say, hey, what's up? When are you free so we can get together and, chill? You understand? Were you texting her to set up a date? Or were you just sort of texting her, just talking about nonsense? Like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? And, it's good meeting you. And, what are you doing later today? And, what are you having for dinner? Like, you're just texting her whatever. So you just got a number, and then you're sweating her. You understand what I'm saying? You're not really hitting her up just to make plans, which is the only reason you guys should be texting or calling a girl in the first place, right? Is just to make plans to meet up. That is it. That's what the phone is for. That's what the texting is for, not for chit chatting about a whole bunch of other craziness. So the thing is that if you were texting her a whole bunch of stuff. That could have been the thing that made her be like, okay, I'm not really dealing with this guy because he's doing way too much too soon, and I'm done. So it's not necessarily that, y'all exchanged numbers and then she led you on. You understand what I'm saying? It wasn't like she was like, oh yeah, I'm really feeling you, and you and her was going out, and y'all were, vibing, and everything was great, and then all of a sudden she was just like, nah, I'm good. You understand? You just got her number, you started texting her like crazy, and then she probably changed her mind because she thought you was a little bit too needy. You feel what I'm saying? So that could have been it. But also, what the guy was saying, Tyrone Magnus, I think you said his name was, what he was saying isn't necessarily false. There are some times where a chick will get with you, or she'll give you the number, and she's just sort of, has you around for attention. She'll sort of just like, just take your number just because, or give you the number just because, or, keep you as one of the guys in her rotation. So, she's not really taking it too seriously. You understand? But the thing is that what I noticed in your email, and the reason why you are even coming at the situation this way, is because if you notice, what you're saying is, you said, the rare times that I actually, you said the rare event in which I actually do get a girl's number. So you're making it seem as if like, this is some rare thing. And maybe at this point of the game, you're not really getting that many numbers. You're not really getting that many connections. But by you looking at it as some rare event, what you're doing is that you're creating that, vibe. You understand? You're creating that situation where now when you approach girls and you're interacting with them, you're making it seem as if when you get a number, it's a rare event. So when you interact with a chick, you create that situation. So when you're talking to a girl, you're probably not expecting to exchange numbers with a chick or get a girl's number. So that vibe comes across when you talk to women. And then what happens is that, what you're telling yourself becomes true, because then now it's going to be a rare thing when you get a girl's number, because you're creating that in your mind. And then by you creating that in your mind, you're giving off that energy when you're talking to women. And then there's going to be a lot of women who are not going to give you the number and all that other stuff because you think this is how it's supposed to go. You understand? Like you even said, it was a part in here. Let me see if I could find it. You said, I may not have been this chick's only victim. Do you understand? So this is, you got to pay attention to how you're looking at these things, because you're looking at it as like you're a victim. Like, oh, I was, this evil, powerful woman who's just, using and abusing all these guys. And I was one of the victims of her leading me on and making me think that we were going to get together and make something happen. And she just flaked, or she didn't call me back, or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you're looking at it in that way. You understand? But again, you're looking at it in that way because you don't understand sort of how women operate, right? It's the same way where women don't really know how men operate. So this is why you'll have a girl who gets with a guy and he smashes, he has sex with her, and then he never calls her again. And she's like, oh my God, why did this guy lead me on? And I'm like, he didn't lead you on. You just had sex. And she's like, but we had sex. So I thought that that meant, no, it didn't mean nothing. You thought, as a woman, you thought a guy fucking you meant he liked you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you just don't understand the game. You feel what I mean? So this woman thought because a guy, stuck his dick in her, that meant that they were on their way to a relationship and being boyfriend and girlfriend, or, and there's a lot of women who think that. So there's a lot of women who don't know that a guy will have sex with them, even though he doesn't really like her like that, right? So she's thinking that she was led on because she thought that sex meant something else. So now you got a girl's number and you thought that meant something. You know what I'm saying? You thought that was the road to getting shit popping. You thought that was like a guarantee that she was going to get with you, or that she was feeling you. You understand what I'm saying? So the same way where a girl will think that because the guy had sex, that means he likes her. You're thinking because a girl gave you the number that she likes you, or that she's feeling you to that point where things are going to flow. So now you feel like you've been let on. You understand what I'm saying? But the thing is that there are situations where, people interact with each other and, date or whatever, and people actually do lead other people on and make them think it's one thing when it's not. And, I don't think that that's a cool thing to do. You understand? Where, you would have, you'd have women who will, get with a guy, flirt with him, make him think that she's, or give him that idea that she's really into him, but she's just sort of like using him for attention or using him for his money or whatever. Or you got guys who will, get with a chick and pretend like, oh, he really wants to be in a relationship with her, but all he's really trying to do is sex. So that's more like sort of a leading on thing where it's like you're portraying yourself in a certain way, and then you sort of just flip it, out of the blue, and then they're just like, yo, what the fuck happened? You understand? But you getting a girl's number and, you hitting her up and then her not trying to return your call, that's not really leading you on. You understand what I'm saying? And in certain cases, you could look at it as, that's kind of like her wasting your time, because you would be like, why would you give me your number if you're not going to pick up or answer, right? But again, a lot of times what happens is that your behavior and the way that you come across when you're dealing with these women can dictate if they are going to follow through or not. This is why game is important. You understand? Because if you get a girl's number and then you're texting her, calling her, sweating her, and all the other stuff, that's the thing that will turn her off, because initially she could have probably been feeling you. She probably was, liking you or whatever. And then now that you was texting her, doing all the other stuff, that, probably turned her off because she was like, okay, this guy seems needy. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the thing is that what I would say to you is that you have to, understand the game a little bit more when it comes to dealing with women, and understand that there's going to be a lot of girls you get with who are, they're going to give you the number and you're going to text them and they're not going to call you back. Because sometimes the girl gives you the number and she, even let's say, in a scenario where she's actually into you, she gives you the number. She was into you at that moment. And then later on, as she starts to think about it, and then she's like, oh, I don't know if I really want to like start dating this dude, or I don't, this other thing came up, or my ex-boyfriend called me. So now I'm try to make some work with him. So all these different things that can happen literally within a day. You feel what I'm saying? That could make her say, nah, I'm good. You understand? Or she could just change her mind and she's not in the mood and all the other stuff. Because you got to understand, women, see, it's different for us guys. Like, we meet a chick, we made up in our mind that we want to smash. So we're going to make that happen. At least that's going to happen. Like, we're like, we will have sex with this girl. If the girl wants to have sex, the sex is going to happen because we already made it up in our minds that we want to have sex. Do you understand what I'm saying? Women, on the other hand, the way that they think and the way that they operate is that a woman, she can meet a guy, think he's attractive, be actually interested in seeing him again. And then when he texts her or call her, she could be in a funky mood. You understand? Let's say she had a bad day, or, something happened and now she's emotional and all this other stuff, right? So then her emotion is going to take over and make her say, oh, well, he's hitting me up saying, let's get together. And then, she's going to be like, no, I can't, or I'm not going to be able to make it, or whatever. Like, she'll flake or she'll do any of those things strictly based off her feeling, based off her emotion. Do you understand? Women are not like us. They are not like us, right? Because I guarantee you, if for a dude, even if he was having a bad day and he planned on meeting up with a chick to smash, he's not going to let his quote unquote bad day stop him from smashing. Is a difference between men and women. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the thing is, you have to understand that. And a lot of times depending on the girl's mood, depending on, how she's feeling, and also depending on how you come at the situation, is going to make her react and respond in a certain way. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is why a lot of times when I tell guys, hey, when you're talking to a girl and you're trying to get a number or whatever, it's better to do it really quick. It's better to do it fast, because you don't want to stay there for a long time talking about a whole bunch of shit, and then you end up saying something stupid that is going to make her feel like, oh, well, let me not, give this guy my number because he said that and it made me think this and blah, 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 blah. You feel what I'm saying? And this is why, I tell guys like, hey, when you first get with a chick, try to, or first get her number, try to get with her, that week or, later the next day, or if you can, as soon as possible, because keep that momentum up, because the longer you take, the more time you have for her to go through some shit, the more time you have for her to, you to say something or do something that's going to make her change her mind and all this other stuff. You understand? This is why a lot of times where if a guy meets a woman, at an event or whatever, at a bar, at a club, whatever, and if that girl is ready to smash that night, you got to smash her that night. Because what happens is that if you say, oh man, I got to get up early in the morning, or let me or let's say like you're trying to do it, and then something happens where you feel like, oh, let me just get her number and I'll call her tomorrow, or we'll get together this weekend. Most of the time when you do that, it's not going to go down. Like, it's not going to go down, because at that moment she's ready to smash. And then when you call her on Friday to do it because you couldn't do it that day, she's on a whole different wavelength at this point. Like, it's that feeling is gone. The feeling is done. You feel what I'm saying? You understand? Like in some rare cases, you're going to get a chick who, if she was really feeling you that much, she'll still meet up with you and hook up. But a lot of times when you have that situation where the girl is ready to do it now, you got to do it now. See, the reason why I'm just saying all of this is because I want to get you to understand sort of how women operate and think, and realize that that's what it is. And you got to understand the game to know what's going on, so that you don't feel like, oh, well, I got this girl's number and I text her and then she never called me again, or she stopped, hitting me up, and thinking that meant that she led you on. You understand what I'm saying? Because it really doesn't. In this case, from what I'm reading, it doesn't necessarily seem like she led you on. It seemed like you got her number and then you were sweating her, and then by you sweating her, that turned her off. You understand? Because again, when you first meet with chicks, some of them are still evaluating whether or not they want to continue to make something happen with you. This is why chicks be like, I want to get to know you. Let's get together and so we can talk and get to know each other. And can we, let's talk and let's do it. This is why, on an online dating site, sometimes chicks will want to chat and ask you all these questions and all that, because they want to get to know you and feel you out and all that other stuff. You understand? We just look at a chick and we're like, yo, you're cute. I want to hit, I want to smash, and then everything else we'll talk about later. You feel me? So women are different. They're not like us. You feel me? So that's what it is. All right. So listen, guys, if you have a question, make sure you click the link below. And again, thanks for the donation that the subscriber sent. Thank you for the donation. And remember, guys, if you want to guarantee that your question is going to be answered, click that link below, send a donation, and I will holler at you later. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. I'm gone. Now, before you turn off this video, I want you to do 3 quick things. 1, I want you to click the link below so you can send me a question and I'll do a video on it. 2, I want you to click the link under that to get my free audio program, Undeniable Game, which gives you 7 tips on how to really attract beautiful women. And number 3, I want you to click the link under that to go to badboymembership.com, where you get 45 through 90-minute audio and video dating advice tutorials every month.
Hey, what's up? It's dating and life coach Mr. Locario. Go to badboymembership.com and master the dating game by joining my Bad Boy Membership program. In this program, you'll receive 45 through 90-minute, easy-to-follow, step-by-step dating advice tutorials that's guaranteed to help you attract, date, and have sex with beautiful women. Join the Bad Boy Membership today by going to badboymembership.com. That's badboymembership.com.